بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين رضي الله عن أزواجه وذرياته وأصحابه وأحبابه التابعين وعنا معهم جميعا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Some of the themes that were recited was when Allah Azza wa Jal said, and I'm going backwards. Where Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ. Let us allow the gentleman in the back there, Mr. Fakhr al-Islam, to finish the reception inside and do the reception outside. Shaykh, would be very nice. Thank you so much. Allah bless you. وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ. Allah. نَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ means Allah is speaking about the people of Jannah. We removed the hatred and the grudges from their hearts. Nazahna, we removed it. Yeah, one of the things of this month is the purification of the heart. You know, we're not going to go at the end of the month to Allah Azza wa Jal with the heart filled with garbage. Allah will not accept us this way. The only way you can go to Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah accepts you, is if you go to Allah biqalbin salim, with a good heart, not with a heart filled with hate and grudges. And that's why Allah describes His awliya as what? People whose hearts don't have hate. Ajib, you say, does that mean that people don't hurt the awliya and the salihin? They don't do them wrong? They killed most of the anbiya. They killed and slandered most of the anbiya and the awliya. That's what people do. Lakin those people, Allah Azza wa Jal purified their hearts. And that's how they became close to Him. Hadith رواه أحمد في مسنده. Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As sitting with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at this hadith. A man comes, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells them, the man that's coming up will be among the people of Jannah. Like this. Everybody is looking. Who's coming up? A man came up. Abdullah ibn Amr doesn't know him. Nobody knows him. Or at least people don't know him. 3 times it happened like that in one narration. Every time the Prophet ﷺ, the man will come, will be people of Jannah. So Abdullah ibn Amr said, you know what? After the man left the masjid, he followed him. He said, look, I had a bit of a quarrel with my father. A little of an argument with my father, so I can't stay at home tonight. Would you allow me to stay in your home? He says, okay, come. Stay. He says, I went with him. Abdullah ibn Amr did not have a problem with the quarrel with his father. He wanted to see what kind of man is this that will be a person of Jannah. He goes, he says, I saw him sleeping most of the night. I was expecting him, as soon as he comes in, he's rolling the sleeves, everything. Allahu Akbar, reading the whole Quran in one night. No, he went after he did his ahzab, his awrad, his things. Before Fajr, he says, he woke up slightly before Fajr. He did the basic things, nothing much. Second night, maybe the first night he was tired. Second night, the same thing. The man, third night, same thing. The man seems to be doing his fard, just the basic fard, what we tell our children. Do what Allah asked you to do, what He made fard. And from the extra, do here and there as much as you can. That's it. We don't want anything from you. He said, it turns out the man, that's all he does. He does some, the fara'id, he does them. What's fard, he does. And the extra stuff, he does a little bit, not much. I said, the third night I told him, look, let me tell you. He sat with him, he says, look, I really did not have a problem with my father. But I heard the Prophet ﷺ say that you'll be a man of Jannah. I want to know what kind of worship you do in order for you to deserve Jannah. And I only saw you doing only basically the fard and just a little bit extra. قال هو that this is what you saw is what it is. لكن there's something. Before I sleep, I make sure my heart is empty from any ill feeling towards anybody. I make sure I don't sleep and my heart is filled with hate. I can't do this. So I purify my heart from all the hate and I sleep clean. He says, this is the one that got you, which we are struggling to get. وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ. Al-Quran Al-Kareem says here, we remove that from their hearts. And this is a month of Ramadan where we can practice these things anyway. No, Islam is a deen of mahabbah, deen of love, deen of mercy, not deen of hate. The hate is what other people do. They think everybody else is lower and there's no equivalency. Sometimes they come to you with political equivalency, sometimes social equivalency, sometimes moral equivalency. I don't know. I remember last time all humanity came from Adam and his wife, and there's equivalency that we're all his children. Anyway. Justifying hate and murder and exploitation and human being ajib. This month of Ramadan is a month of refinement, refining that. And you don't answer hate with hate, like the Sahabi did. You answer, you always clean your heart, and you always ensure that you throw a good seed, a positive seed. If your neighbor is good, you're good. Another ayah, real quick, which is also amazing, about Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. Sayyidina Ibrahim Khalil. Abraham. He says, قال ربنا إني أسكنت من ذريتي بواد غير ذي زرع عند بيتك المحرم. Sayyidina Ibrahim al-Khalil, he takes his wife, our mother alayhi salam, and a brand new child, Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. And he takes them and puts them where Al-Quran Al-Kareem says, بواد غير ذي زرع, in a valley. In the old days, Mecca used to be a valley. The mountains around Mecca were still there. Today there's buildings. But it used to be a valley. If you look at some pictures in the 60s or even before, very around the Haram entirely was the Haram, and all that was just the valley, everything mountains around it. Ibrahim al-Khalil says, Rabbi inni askantu min Rabbana inni askantu min dhurriyyati. I am putting my family, his wife and his child who was just born, in a valley. Valley, these are no greenery. No water. No greenery means no water. عند بيتك المحرم, next to your house that's sacred. There was no house yet. The house was built, but there's no house remains. ربنا ليقيموا الصلاة. Ya Allah, so they can establish the salah. And you think, a woman on her own. Oftentimes Islam, how it is, sometimes, what do we say? Gender equivalency and all this business that we come up with. All kinds of equivalencies today. Every couple of days there's a new term. Now Islam, look at Islam. One woman to establish a nation. The wife of Sayyidina Ibrahim, alone with a baby, to establish, what's the mission? To live? The mission to see which hairstyle I would like today? The mission to see, what's the mission? Mission is to establish a nation. To build humanity, not just a community. To build humanity, Allah Azza wa Jal puts her there. Sayyidina Ibrahim al-Khalil alayhi salatu leaves them there. To build humanity, Hajar alayhi salatu wasalam, there in Mecca, in a valley that has no equipment of anything, there is no greenery, there is no water, there is nobody, was left to establish not just a nation, but to build humanity. That's when Zamzam came, and that's a woman. And when we go today, until today, after thousands of years, all Muslims, when they go to Hajj, and when they go to Umrah, what do? You still follow the steps of your mother Hajar. Between Safa and Marwa. You run a little bit, and you walk fast a little bit. You're still mimicking, you're still following the steps of your mother. Because the idea was how to build humanity, not just to build a nation. It's not about the running. It's about what you're doing in your life. That's the woman in Islam that we still honor until today. Men, women, they all follow her steps today. They're talking about leaders. Today is the 10th of Ramadan. 10 days already passed. 1/3. You have 2/3 left. Not much. Like this. The third left like this. What happened to the first third? I don't know. You missed things on the first third. Please don't miss them on the second third. This is your preparation for the last third. So collect yourself together, bring yourself together. Also, allegedly today, there's no authentic narrative in this. Like, we know for sure it was Ramadan, and most of the narratives say so. Another woman, our mother Khadijah al-Kubra, radiyallahu anha, passed. In Ramadan, some people of history, they say 10th of Ramadan. Some people say we don't know, but it's in Ramadan. Mostly the beginning of Ramadan, it seems like. We have Hajar, we have Khadijah al-Kubra, the one who married the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ummul Mu'mineen, Khadijah bint Khuwaylid. Oh, and that's a woman I don't know if we can do a right speaking about her. What do you say about Khadijah, and what can you say about Khadijah, the mother that your own mother, Al-Hanoun, the caring mother, the kind mother unto her children. The one who gave everything and everything until her life. She gave her life eventually. So that all of you can have a message delivered to you as well and her love passing on to you from 1400 years ago in Mecca. Khadijah radiallahu anha was a billionaire in nowadays measurement, not a millionaire. Everybody today is a millionaire, but the numbers don't make any difference because there's no barakah. There's no barakah. So add as many zeros as you want. They're kind of worthless. Anyway, Khadijah was a billionaire in that time, with the time of barakah. That's when she married the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you all know, you probably know my view, that she was not 40 years old. No? There's no authentic evidence to that. She was probably 25, 26, right around the prophetic age. Anyway, I said some other time we'll talk about that. She married the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? A billionaire. She lived with him 15 years or so before he sallallahu alaihi wasallam announced his message. 15 years you're living with him. The Prophet ﷺ, after 15 years, announces the message. Wahi commands him, you need to make it public. He makes it public, ﷺ. Now you know, she's a businesswoman. She's a businesswoman. She knows what business means. She comes from a fine tribe in Quraysh. Connections with the people. And here her husband now comes and says, we have to go, and I have to go and tell all the people that they've been worshipping idols and all this business is not good. More or less. We haven't seen her asking him or telling him, Ya Rasulullah, or at that time maybe she was telling him before, Ya Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Are you sure? You're saying you're commissioned as a prophet. Are you sure? Are you sure? Do you know what this will do to our children? Our home? My business? My family? Our family? Our life will be threatened. You heard any of that? He comes, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and tells her, I am commissioned to announce the message publicly. She tells him, Kalla, as the hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith Sayyid Aisha al-Mu'mineen radiyallahu anha. She tells him, Kalla wallahi la yukhzika Allahu abada. No way Allah will let you down, Ya Rasulullah. Go. Innaka la taksibul kalb. Now look at what Khadijah thinks, good qualities that she has lived with and seen firsthand. Ya Rasulullah, you give the needy, you clothe the poor, you feed the hungry, وتعين على وتقري الضيف, and you honor your guest, وتعين على نوائب الحق, and you stand with the truth. This is what a wife sees her husband when she describes him as, after 15 years of being with him, she describes these 5 or 6 qualities. You stand with the truth, you honor your guest, you clothe the hungry, you feed the hungry, you clothe the needy, you do this. Because of these things, there's no way Allah will let you down. I wonder what our young brothers and sisters now think when they want to get married, which they should get married. Because now even getting married becomes, should I get married now or after I get my 7th PhD? And after I have $300 million in the account. And after I have a car and a house and all kinds of things. Go get married and build your life together, man. Go get married. Because the idle mind is the devil's playground. Go get married. Go. Not without your parents. Get your parents' blessings and permission. That which starts right ends right. And that which starts wrong will generate difficulties. This is what radiallahu anha said, Khadijah al-Mu'mineen. She struggles with the Prophet ﷺ from that day on, every single day, forfeiting her wealth, her money, her business being boycotted, her business being tampered and destroyed, the money that you never heard of that used to purchase slaves and free them, that used to fend people off, get people off of being tortured, and people off of being lashed, and people off of being expelled from their homes. These things history did not write, but Allah Azza wa Jalla knows where those billions went. Lots of people who would not say anything, but things were being paid without people know anything. You don't have to advertise things on CNN for people to know. They've got their own things. That's where the money of Khadijah is, until the very last years, when they put her in the embargo. Shaykh Abi Talib, no food, no water, huh? What do you have now? No food, no fuel, no what else? No electricity, no water, huh? Ooh, same thing. Things haven't changed much. Nothing. Starved them to death. They left the Prophet ﷺ and his family for 3 years there, or 17 months to say the least. 3 years sitting there in the desert. Secluded. People cannot talk to them, cannot approach them, cannot trade with them, cannot do business with them. The end of which, the Sayyidah Khadijah paid her life. Yeah, they wanted to kill you by starvation. Yeah, they got it. And that's when she passed away in the beginning of Ramadan, like today, a day like today. And I don't know about you, I'll finish with this, but I can't go to Mecca without going and seeing my mother. I don't feel comfortable going there to Mecca until today. Every time I go to Mecca, I go to Al-Hajjun. Behind the Haram, there's a small valley, used to be called Wadi Al-Hajjun. A small valley. If you nowadays you'll find it. They have nice asphalted road. You go up slightly on your right. You see a cemetery there where Sayyidah Khadijah is known. They call it Al-Makkah, they call it Al-Mu'alla. Right? You go to Al-Mu'alla there. In Wadi, in the valley of Hajjun, that's what it's called, this area. Al-Marghani rahmatullahi alayhi, he says when the cameliers, in the old days there were no roads, they would go to Mecca with the camels, and there's a camelier, right? And the camelier is the one who sings to the camels as they go through the desert. And the camels follow him. And the people who are on the camels, the travelers, they find comfort in the camelier's songs. Usually the camelier sings about things that are close to heart. So this Al-Marghani rahmatullah alayhi says, قف بالحجون سويعة يا حادي. Oh camelier, as you're leaving Mecca, slow down when you pass by the valley of Hajun. Give me a bit of an hour. Just give us a little bit. قف بالحجون سويعة يا حالي يا حالي وقر السلام أهيل ذاك الوادي. And say Assalamu alaikum, O inhabitants of this valley. Your mother, al-Mu'mineen, Khadijah, right? وأنخ ركاب الشوق في سوح العلا سوح الكرام السادة الأمجاد. He says, and then come down onto your knees. Let the camels come on their knees when they are on that valley. Bring the camels on their knees. Don't just stop. The maqam is a maqam of honoring. Bring the camels down to their knees. أنخ ركاب الشوق في سوح العلا. This is the arena of honor, the arena of dignity, the arena of glory, the arena of greatness. سوح الكرام السادة الأمجاد. This is where the honorable people are. This is where the masters are. This is where the nobles are. This is where the dignified people are. This is where the lights of humanities are. وَقُلِ السَّلَامُ عَلَيْكِ يَا أُمَّ الْوَرَى. سلام الله عليك مولاي. وقل السلام عليك يا أم الهدى زوج النبي الهاشمي الهادي. And then say, direct your heart and say Assalamu alayki ya Umm al-Huda, ya Umm al-Wara. Salam unto you, O mother of all guidance, O mother of everyone. زوج النبي الهاشمي الهادي أم البتول خديجة ذات التقى. This is the mother of Fatima, Khadijah ذات التقى. من بشرت بالفوز والإسعاد. You take your time there and you say your salams. If you like to visit the qubur. If you don't like to visit the qubur, visit the qusur. Go visit palaces, you might be happier. Wherever you like. Like in visiting the qubur is sunnah, we are visiting lots of qusur, lots of qasr, lots of palaces. But we haven't visited qubur enough. And some qubur are much better than visiting palaces and qusur. This is your mother where the Prophet ﷺ says, في صحيح البخاري, Jibreel comes to him, says, Ya Rasulullah, Khadijah is about to come to you, grant her salam from Allah and from me. I am here to send the salam from Allah and from me. And to give her good news that in Jannah, she will no longer be subject to difficulties anymore. She suffered enough. Those are some of the examples on these days, the days that we remember the martyrdom, if you want to say, of our mother Khadijah al-Kubra. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant her the highest level in Jannah. And for her and her children, all of us to be gathered with her, Ya Rabbal Alameen. And for us to connect with her and to realize her kindness and her sacrifice and her suffering unto us. And may Allah Azza wa Jal grant us an accepted Ramadan. وتقبل الله منا الصيام والقيام وصلى الله على محمد وآله